Strengthening gun control has been my number one priority as the Minister of Public Safety, and it is a top priority for the Government of Canada. In recent months and over the past few years, we have taken strong action in order to improve public safety and to save lives by closing the gaps in our laws and increasing penalties for those who break the laws. In addition, we have prohibited over 1,500 military-style assault rifles.
While the Trudeau government is busy lecturing gun owners and seizing our property, it would seem like the government isn't doing a very good job of keeping track of their own guns. I mean, the federal cops lost a submachine gun. Isn't that one of the military-style assault weapons Trudeau is always trying to scare us about? Friends, the Liberals are nothing if not opportunistic. The election call just 2 years into a 4-year election cycle is just like the latest example of this. You see, the Liberals have spent the entire pandemic fighting the real danger to public health: hunters and sport shooters and airsofters. Remember this from May 2020? The world had just locked down because of the coronavirus pandemic, and so the Liberal gun grabbers made their big move. Breaking, Justin Trudeau announces an order to ban 1,500 gun models in Canada. And then, as the second or third wave of the coronavirus took hold, I cannot keep track of how many waves we're in, but anyways, as the coronavirus pandemic raged on in February 2021, Trudeau did it again. Look at this. Trudeau government poised to introduce new gun control legislation. That's not even a year from the previous gun control legislation. The new gun ban involved a gun buyback program. Buyback, of course, implying that your guns were ever the government's in the first place, but okay. The new law also allowed mayors to basically impose their own gun control laws, ultimately creating a patchwork quilt of restrictions and regulations and bans to outlaw things that would be otherwise legal in another municipality. But as with so many horror stories, the phone call was coming from inside the house. The unsafe storage of firearms is a bit of a federal government problem and not a responsible, highly vetted Canadian firearms owner problem. We found this copy of a previously released access to information document, meaning somebody else had asked for this information, they used it, and now the government has to make these documents available for everybody else to see them so that we're not asking for the same things over and over and over again. That's how we know how many firearms of all types, including tasers and paintball guns, were lost by the federal government in just the calendar year 2018. Details about the lost guns have been previously reported by other agencies, but I thought it was important to bring up again, because what we're seeing here is just the 2018 data. And 2018 is very significant because that's the year Justin Trudeau introduced his first major piece of gun control legislation, Bill C-71. And in that, he undid many of the conservative changes to the gun laws. It mandated a backdoor registry and required shopkeepers and retailers to keep the records on behalf of the government so that Justin Trudeau got to keep his hands clean and he didn't have to break on paper his promise for no more gun registry. The new law also reinstated the ATT, or authorization to transport, where now you have to, once again, call a bureaucrat somewhere and ask permission to take your restricted firearm to the only place you're allowed to use it, the gun range. So in 2018, while Justin Trudeau was focusing on the rest of us law-abiding folks, he was ignoring the carelessness of federal agencies when it comes to safe storage and management of firearms. Here's what that 2018 filer for access to information asked for. The total number of firearms lost by, missing, and stolen from the RCMP, and lost by, missing, and stolen from other police forces, lost by, missing, and stolen from other public service agencies, and lost by, missing, and stolen from the military. Now, the response from the government is not as specific as the access to information filer wanted. The government did not break down the response by agency, but it sure shows how irresponsible the feds are when it comes to guns. Like if you or I were this irresponsible with our firearms, we would be in the slammer and never be allowed to own guns ever again. You can see here, there are assorted service weapons that are lost or stolen, sidearms, handguns, even paintball guns. 22 tasers were lost or stolen. One submachine gun that they apparently just misplaced. Who knows where that thing went to? Which is pretty interesting that a federal government employee lost an actual military-style weapon while the government is simultaneously banning your daughter's .410 bird gun because it has a cool black plastic stock under the guise that that bird gun is some sort of military-style assault weapon. All in all, in 2018, 34 firearms were stolen across federal agencies, and another 88 were just either lost or missing due to incompetence or something else, for a total of 122 firearms just in the wind under the direct watch of Public Safety Minister and professional gun grabber extraordinaire, Bill Blair. Now, I'll attach this document to the body of the story so that you can see for yourself just how irresponsible the federal government is with their own firearms while projecting their dangerous irresponsibility onto the rest of us. Just because Bill Blair and the gang is dangerously bad at firearms storage doesn't mean you and I are. The Canadian firearms community will not forget how these people scapegoated us for their own bad behavior. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. During the federal election campaign, Rebel News reporters are going to ask real accountability questions because we are not bought off by Justin Trudeau and we are not paid for to maintain the Liberal Party narrative. We're not the mainstream media. We're going to ask tough questions to all politicians of all stripes because we don't answer to politicians, we answer to you. If you'd like to help us with our comprehensive, on-the-ground campaign coverage during this completely unnecessary and opportunistic federal election campaign, please donate today at realreporters.com.